Dick Grayson was the first sidekick to Batman, the very first Robin. He eventually went on to become a fantastic hero and leader in his own right as Nightwing, but his story is filled with twists, turns, and a lot of excitement. Dick is one of my favourite characters in the DC universe, so I've really been looking forward to making this video. Let's get into it. So Richard John Grayson was born to Jack and Mary Grayson of the acrobatic circus act The Flying Graysons. By the age of just 3, Dick was already showing a mastery of acrobatics and performed in the Haley's Circus show for the first time. A few years later, when he was 12 years old, Haley's Circus travelled to Gotham City. Thugs working for the mob boss Zuko extort the circus for protection money, but when it isn't paid, they sabotage the Graysons' trapeze, which leads to the death of Jack and Mary, Dick's parents. Dick had actually suspected what was going to happen after overhearing a conversation, but did not act on it. Because of this, he blamed himself and wanted revenge. But he was stopped by acting upon it by none other than Bruce Wayne. Bruce merely trying to protect the kid from Zuko's retribution. Bruce decides to take the young Grayson in himself, training him as a detective. Before long, it becomes very clear to Bruce that Dick is basically a genius with a great detective instinct, and his mastery of acrobatics means he picks up martial arts like it's second nature. One night, Dick snuck out of the Wayne Manor to attempt to solve the crime of his parents' death on his own, only to stumble into Batman, who was also investigating the murder. After waking up in the Batcave, he is shocked to learn that Bruce is actually Batman. They connect Zuko to the crime, but he dies of a heart attack before his arrest. Seeing a reflection of himself in Dick, Batman made the young orphan the offer of a lifetime, the chance to become his crime-fighting partner. Dick chose the name Robin after the nickname his mother gave him when he was young, and his training then began. He becomes Robin, sidekick to Batman, and dons a costume based upon the ones worn by his parents when they performed. After 6 months of grueling training under Bruce, Dick has to pass one final test before he was able to take to the streets with Batman. He had to elude the Dark Knight on the streets of Gotham for one night, from sundown to sunrise, without any outside help. Dick succeeded, simultaneously bringing in a Gotham gangster to justice. Dick took to the streets as Batman's fully fledged partner in crime fighting, Robin the Boy Wonder. After countless missions with Batman, Dick eventually started going out on his own. It wasn't long before a group of young heroes got together and formed the group Teen Titans. Robin took on the leadership of the Titans, and in doing so, he stepped out of the Batman's shadow. When he was 17 years old, he was shot in the shoulder by the Joker. Bruce panicked and, in order to protect Dick, contemplated ending his crime-fighting career for good. But it was here that Dick realised he had grown up. He didn't need Bruce anymore. His newfound independence and his duties with the Titans left far less time for his commitments in Gotham. Bruce was far from pleased with the situation and told Dick that if he no longer wanted to be his partner, then he could no longer be Robin. Feeling lost, Dick turned to someone unexpected for advice: Superman. Superman told him a story that seemed relevant. Long ago on Krypton, a man was cast out by his family, just as Dick had been. He had dreamt of a world ruled by justice and set out to protect the helpless of Krypton. His true identity was never revealed. He was known only as Nightwing. So now deciding to take this mantle up as his own title, Nightwing had finally moved out of the shadow of the Bat, and would lead the Titans through some hard times. Dick endured brainwashing at the hands of Brother Blood, and he would be deeply affected by the fact that Batman trained a new Robin, Jason Todd, only for him to seemingly be killed at the hands of the Joker. Shortly after this, Dick learned that Tony Zuko, the man who killed his parents, had not actually died but rather passed into a coma. Batman feared Dick would want the gangster dead, so he protected Dick by telling him that Zuko had died. After spending nearly 7 years in prison with good behaviour, Zuko applied for parole, in exchange for becoming a state informant of mob activity. Just as Dick arrived to see him step out of the prison, he was gunned down by an enemy mobster from a helicopter. Despite catching the assassin and getting some closure to his parents' death, Dick was very upset with Bruce for lying to him and keeping him away. Feeling both hurt and betrayed, Bruce and Dick would remain at odds with each other, never really sorting out their strained relationship. While serving with the new Titans, Dick was searched out by an older Tim Drake, who looked up to Dick and Robin. He had only one goal on his mind: to get Dick to return to being Robin. It was Dick's refusal to return that Tim started down the road toward becoming the new Robin himself. After weeks of trying to persuade and prove his potential, only to be turned down by Bruce, Dick then returned to Batman to plead Tim's case with the help from Alfred Pennyworth. Due to their arguments and the realization that Batman needs a Robin, Tim Drake became the third Boy Wonder. If you guys are interested in a full video on Tim Drake, or for that matter Jason Todd, then be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, while Dick was away from Gotham leading the Titans, Bruce was almost killed by Bane, having his back broken. And due to their recent issues and being unwilling to force Dick to come back to Gotham, Bruce decided to pass on the mantle of Batman to Jean-Paul Valley, who he had been training to eventually take over the role anyway. He just didn't expect it to be so soon. Tim Drake's Robin was there to guide Valley, but sadly he was just too much for Tim to handle. Dick had to return to help Tim, and when Bruce returned to Gotham healed and ready to become Batman once more, the three of them, along with Catwoman, brought Valley down and Bruce resumed the mantle of Batman. When Dick returned to the Titans, he discovered that the government had gotten themselves involved in the structure of the team and placed Arsenal, formerly known as Speedy, the sidekick of Green Arrow, as the new leader of the team. So Dick made the tough decision to leave the Titans. He went back to focusing on the problems in Gotham. Still recovering from his broken back, Bruce asked Dick to substitute for him as Batman for a short time. Dick accepted, and during this time Dick was able to confront Two-Face and lay some demons to rest. He also established a wonderful partnership with Tim, which allowed for their brotherly bond to flourish. Bruce eventually returned to Gotham to reclaim his role as Batman before taking back the mantle. Here, Bruce decided to explain to Dick the reason he had not selected him for the role of Batman originally, and for the first time in a long time, Bruce and Dick began to heal their strained relationship. Bruce's respect for Dick was at last very clear. A while later, a storyline took place that saw the apparent death of Batman. When the Justice League came to inform Dick that Bruce's contingency plan included him replacing him as Batman, he didn't jump at the chance. There were plenty of reasons for his hesitance, not least of which was resisting the idea that all this time, Robin and Nightwing had just been titles or missions to keep him busy until his real job began. After Jason Todd, who at this point was back from the dead, but that's a story for another video, took the role to violent extremes. Among other memorable twists in the Battle for the Cowl storyline, Dick was forced to realise that, like it or not, he truly was the best man for the job. He didn't agree with Bruce on many things, but nobody ever said he had to be the same Batman as Bruce. It was a chapter in Dick's life that drove home the point that he wasn't just a different hero from Batman, or even Robin, he was a different man. He didn't pursue the fame or power of the cowl, but used it to keep Bruce's symbol alive, while bringing Bruce's son Damian Wayne along as his own Robin. Finally shifting from student to master wasn't easy with a pupil like Damian, but by the time Bruce Wayne finally returned from his presumed death, the results spoke for themselves. Bruce was so impressed with Dick that he let him keep the cowl, making him the central figure in Batman Incorporated, an attempt to turn the idea of the Dark Knight into a network of agents. Then the launch of DC's New 52 changed all of that, returning Bruce to the cowl and sending Dick on an even more unique trajectory, as a secret agent. But before that, we learned some interesting things about Dick through the Court of Owls storyline, my favourite aspect of the New 52 launch. Oh yeah, and the Nightwing costume was red and black during this time for some reason. It was revealed that Nick was always supposed to be a Talon, an agent of the court, through his grandfather. When Bruce revealed this information to Dick, he didn't believe him, so Bruce punched him, knocking out a tooth, revealing a fake tooth with the mark of a Talon on it. Dick says something along the lines of, "It doesn't matter what he was meant to be, he is a hero." Then during the Forever Evil storyline, the parallel world/evil version of the Justice League takes Grayson prisoner, revealing his secret identity to the entire world. To make things worse, they insert him into something called a murder machine, which he will never be safely removed from while he remains alive. Batman and Lex Luthor try to rescue him, but are forced to accept that the only way to do so is if they kill Dick Grayson. Once he's removed though, they inject him with adrenaline to bring him back to life. And since the world didn't see the resurrection, Bruce hatches a new plan with Dick, one that begins with the world continuing to think that he is dead. As a blank slate, and with a new identity, Dick can infiltrate the super-secret spy organisation known as Spiral. As Agent 37, recruited by Helena Bertinelli, the future Huntress, Dick begins his life as an agent. No mask, no fear, and no idea that his recruitment was actually manipulated on both sides. Unfortunately, Dick's secret agent career was relatively short-lived thanks to a life-or-death situation engineered by the Court of Owls. The organisation that was controlling Gotham City and the rest of the world announces that they had planted a bomb inside the brain of Damian Wayne, a bomb that would detonate unless Dick Grayson came to work for them as Nightwing once more, the career that he was actually bred for by his ancestors. Dick accepts, making it clear that he'll play along only as far as he needs to, or until a major event comes along to give him an even bigger job. So following the deletion of the knowledge regarding the secret identity from most of the world in the final issue of Grayson, Dick went back to the Nightwing identity in the DC Rebirth era solo series. The costume's colours were also changed back to the traditional black and blue, thank God. At the start of the series, Nightwing is still a member of the Court of Owls, and he goes on missions around the world for the court. They give him a partner named Raptor, and like Nightwing, he wears a costume, but he is much more violent than Dick, and multiple times Dick has to try and stop him from killing. Throughout the story arc, Dick must work as an undercover agent, but also has to keep his morals and not kill even if the court tells him to. Later on in the series, an event causes him to lose his memory, which leads him to the name change of Rick Grayson and temporary retirement of the Nightwing alias. Then in March 2021, the series became part of DC's new relaunch Infinite Frontier. Tom Taylor becomes the new writer with Bruno Redondo as the artist. The series follows Dick Grayson's return to Bloodhaven as he fights crime while grappling the newfound responsibility from inheriting billions in wealth from Alfred Pennyworth. And that is pretty much it, my friends. I really hope you guys enjoyed this first deep delve into a character from the Batman universe. I felt like, as he's my favourite character, I had to start with Nightwing. We have so many more characters to cover, so if you have any requests, don't forget to drop them in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you return to the Batcave for more Batman content.